The pirates have been scouring the ship for hours by now, and as another frustrated and angry growl bellows through the cargo hold, Karit'ci feels yet again. They still haven't found what they are looking for. Even worse, nobody knows what they are looking for. Nestled between his captain, the Helmswoman, the chief of security, and the Cargomistress, huddled in the middle of the hostages, the Ensign feels awfully out of place. Not because of the hijacking, not because of the rough treatment of hostages, but because he shouldn't be there. As engineer third class, he wasn't even supposed to be on the bridge, and now he was in the middle of the highest-ranking officers on the ship, and literally tied to them. He was just out of place. Another loud growl echoes through the chamber as another heavily armed Kuorog paces around the pile of squirming fear. Karit'ci nervously licks his nose as he follows the pirate with all four eyes around the room. There is no sense in it. If they wanted to look for something, they would have spaced the crew and disassembled the ship. But for some reason, they weren't given the quick out and are forced to stick around. Why haven't they killed us outright? The engineer realizes too late he voiced his concerns out loud, as the mountain of carapace and bad mood turns to him, makes direct eye contact, and with quite a rude volume growls something he understood even without a translator. Silence! He flinched instinctively and regrets his decision as he makes a very painful first contact with the Helmswoman in front of him. A pained groan escapes his lips, and he hears the pirate growl silently yet again. I don't know either, a voice to his left silently mutters. The unexpected answer returns the engineer's thoughts back to the situation at hand. A quick glance and he realizes that it was the captain that answered him. Confused and unsure how to react, the ensign just continues his original train of thought. If they were after the cargo, they would have taken it and left us here. If they were after the ship, they would have spaced us. So why in the Cogni cluster are we still here? If I knew we wouldn't, a gruff voice behind him says, apparently the security guy. If I knew I wouldn't have lost 3 details defending something they apparently aren't after. If I knew I wouldn't have them defend the special cargo and have them focus on the crew as they should have in the first place. It's not your fault, Yelk. We couldn't have known. They have been looking like ordinary pirates the entire time. Still do. Nothing has indicated anything else. Just be glad that those who are still alive are, and none of those who put their trust in your security have suffered any serious harm. A deep grumbling interrupts the conversation of the trio as they realize their voices have reached levels of a normal conversation, and their captors don't seem so happy about it. Yeah, I know. It still pains me, though. The chief continues silently. Please keep it down before they actually start killing us. The Miss Sue pilot in front of Karit'ci threw into the conversation. Huh? The female to the right silently uttered. Like the Cognac already said, if they wanted cargo, they would have taken it. If they wanted the ship, they would have taken it. If they wanted anything of material value, they would be gone by now. So, as far as I would hazard a guess, they want the crew. So no matter what we do, there is a decent chance that most of the crew gets out of this alive. Somehow. Her voice trailed off. Suddenly it dawns on the engineer. You're not saying you don't think they are slavers? An audible gasp erupts from the middle of the pile as everyone in earshot starts to panic in silence. Possibly could also be just a gang of abduction extortionists. Slavery is illegal in these parts, and the closest station where you can sell slaves, well, let's just say they wouldn't make a profit. How are you so sure about this? Oh, there is a lot of dark history in my past. Let's just say I know these things. That's the first I heard of it, the captain quips. Would you have taken me on if you knew? The logistician shot back. Yeah, you're probably right, and I would have regretted it. Besides the point. If we make it out of here, I'll need to take advantage of that kind of knowledge. Bet. Keyword if. The gaggle went silent after that one. They still are stuck, trapped by pirates. Best case, they just want money. Worst case, they were slavers and their free lives were over. As the gravity of the situation sinks in around them again, the engineer breaks the silence with yet another question. Why? Why are we still here? As he states his question, he just earns quizzical looks from the group around him. You know, here. Like I said, they probably want the crew. She gets interrupted. That's not what I mean. Why are we still here, like physically here? Well, the cargo hold is the largest room on the ship, easy to oversee. The captain starts before being interrupted himself. Yeah, I know that is clear, but I mean like physically in space, here. Another round of confused looks tells him he won't get anywhere like this. Look, the pirates have been in control of the ship for hours now. We all relinquished command of the ship and its control functions to the pirates, and yet we haven't moved. We have been drifting through space for hours. They haven't fired the thrusters or activated the warp drive despite it being charged the entire time. Okay, how do you know that? A retort from his left. Long story short, Gale told me. The inertial dampeners are good but not perfect. Same goes for the warp drive. The shielding is good but not perfect. If you know what to look for, you'll know anywhere on the ship you are. Well, almost anywhere. So, what am I looking for? Hard to describe, I can't help you with that, but Gale probably could. Karit'ci stretches his neck and starts looking around the hold. After 3.5 rounds, his movements slow down significantly as he realizes someone is missing. His pale green skin loses all color. What's wrong? The pilot gives him a concerned look. I think. Yes? I think I solved it. What? Captain, I take it they also got access to the crew logs when we relinquished power? Probably. No, wait, very likely, yes. Why? Someone is missing. Who? Take one trinnet of a guess. Don't tell me. Gale? The ensign gave a solemn nod and continued. I think they are looking for him, and I think I know where he is. Wait, you know? I might, and if I'm right, they can look all they want and they will die of exhaustion before they find him. There are Lenyi among the pirates, I highly doubt that. Oh, trust me, if they continue like that, they will. At least if they keep the warp drive charged. Why? By now the captain looks deeply concerned. The engineer straightens up and takes a long and careful look around to make sure none of the captors are paying attention. When he's confident and satisfied, he lowers his head and starts whispering to make sure only the 4 around him take notice. Because our resident human, Grand Master of Ramshackle and Chief of Engineering, has probably taken his nap in the warp drive, as always, and is trapped in there until the core discharges. What do you mean, in the warp drive? A whispering chorus around him answers. Apparently humans are immune to the forces inside the core. He says it's cozy, silent, dark, and nobody disturbs him in there. He also said that he uses the time dilation effect to get his subjective 8 hours of rest in less than 5 minutes ship time, making him a more efficient worker. His words. I think he lost his marbles somewhere in there, and apparently he can't leave if the warp drive is in any non-grounded state. A collective sigh makes a round across the quartet of officers. I think we stand a chance if we let the human run rampant. All heads turned to the chief, who had been lamenting for the better part of their conversation. The idea was so irresponsible, so stupid, so reckless it could actually work. But the question remains, how? The pilot had a point, but then Karit'ci had an idea. We convinced the pirates he's already gone. How? Simple. What was the first thing they did when they took control? I don't know. They jettisoned the escape pods, the captain answers for her. And Gale just happens to take a nap inside a pod when the pirates boarded. Being a timid engineer, what is he supposed to do but to hide in the pod until the danger is over, just to be jettisoned unaware of anything? In the escape pod with the faulty transmitter he was supposed to be repairing. There should be a WIP ticket in the system. I was going to investigate that. Sound like one tall tale? The chief quips, isn't that tall. Should work for some pirates. You get their attention, I do the rest. The sudden confidence from the Cargomistress caught the ensign off guard. What do you mean? Just start talking. Get them to tell you what they are looking for. I'll take the rest. All right, it was my idea, so here goes nothing. He relaxes his shoulders, looks to the ceiling, takes a few breaths and collects himself before standing up and screaming at the pirate, still circling the hostages. What in the name of the unwished enigma takes you so long? What do you want from us? The pirate pauses in confusion. The small and quivering Quinox in the middle of the huddle, who made the most intimidated expression of them all, just suddenly had an outburst. Taken aback, he looked around at his fellow pirates with a questioning expression. but nobody was sure how to react. "We have been tied up for hours and nothing is happening. What the hell is going on? Just tell—" His rant is cut off as one of the higher-ranked pirates enters the room and motions him to stop. "And who exactly gives you the authority?" "I do, as you are clearly not in control." "And what gives you that impression?" The Langni smirks bemused. "Oh, I don't know. The frustrated groaning down the halls, the restless troops switching guard duties ever more frequently. It almost seems like you're running out of time for something." The smirk washes off the pirate's face immediately. "And what are you hoping to get out of this?" The engineer chokes the rest of his sentence and falls into the lap of the astrogator, as the woman to his left sweeps him off his legs. "Oh, shut it before you do something stupid," she comments. "Oh, I like stupid people doing stupid stuff." The pirate smiles sadistically. "I think I'll have some fun with you first when we get all of you back to base." "Then why are we still here?" The ensign prompts with faked outrage. "We're still missing one." The pirate's eyes narrow. "Wait, you're missing one?" The Cargomistress interjects. The pirate groans and looks on a data tablet. "Apparently your chief engineer is still missing." "Oh no, you jettisoned the escape pods, right?" "Yes, standard operating procedure. There's a good chance he was in one of them." "What do you mean?" "He has this weird habit of taking naps in there." "Naps?" "Short bursts of controlled unconsciousness to recuperate mental fortitude, during which he is nearly invisible on the vital scanners. Either you unknowingly ejected him, or he is crawling the vents." The pirate groans and sinks her head in her hands. "So you are telling me that we ejected him hours ago while drifting in the void? In an escape pod without transmitter, probably. Huh? He was supposed to investigate a broken transmitter. I bet he took the opportunity to take a nap on shift, the lazy cragnoid. So we can either try searching for him or let him die out there." The expression in the face of the pirate changes into one of utter annoyance and frustration before hanging her head and leaving the room. 2 minutes later, a communique sounded over the ship's channels, warning everyone of an upcoming hyperjump, followed shortly by the unmistakable feeling Karit'ci had committed to heart. The feeling of a hyperjump and the discharging of the warp drive. There was a chance. With a groan, he turns around and crawls out of the nook he took his usual nap in. Well, usual is an insult to his nap because it wasn't just one or two, but a few. Something had happened and trapped him in the core, again. To his estimate, it was probably about 9 hours ship time. The fact that the dilation got worse when the core is charged didn't help. Still, there are worse things than being trapped in your favorite space for 2.5 years. It didn't matter. Something had gone terribly wrong and it was his job, duty, and obligation to fix it. And knowing nothing about what happened meant just one thing: the highest degree of caution. He groaned again. "It's Algnir all over again, isn't it?"